Okay, it's gonna be a long fucking video, girl. Now that fall is finally upon us, let's talk about fall color makeup. There's something about, the lowering temperature, sweater weather. This only counts if you live in a place that gets colder. That if you're into makeup like I am, you kind of want to just switch up the mood, right? In this video, I want to talk about the different types of colors that you can incorporate into your makeup routine. For those of you that if you ever get your personal color done, or in general, if you just have a personal taste of color, if those colors aren't already within the realm of fall, cold weather makeup, if you are a soft summer, soft autumn, a deep winter, deep autumn, or an autumn in general, this season is already your time to shine. This is going to be for the ones that are like light spring, light summer, bright spring, bright winter, the ones like that. So grab a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get started. So when it comes to fall, what do we think? In a place that has, all four seasons, right? The weather becomes colder, plants start to turn more brown, orangey.
And mornings become gray, misty, and hazy.
So with that in mind, you can incorporate that sort of concept with the types of color makeup that you use. Usually when we think of makeup that gives fall vibes, what do we think? Deep color lipsticks, really grayish tones, brownie tones. So if you're someone that's like a light summer or a light spring where most of the color makeup that you're gonna use has a lot more white in it, what kind of colors can you use to kind of give that fall vibe? Softer grayish colors. Like this. You see what I mean? This feels a lot more whitish while this feels a lot more grayish. Basically, whatever personal color you are, whatever your personal preferences are with color, shift it downwards a little bit in the direction of either gray or black. So if you're light season, then go for more softer tones. If you're a soft summer or soft autumn, you're already there. Actually, for me as a soft summer, if I want more of a fall vibe, for me, I would go either warm tone or go really deep. Like as in adding more black into my makeup. Even if it's not straight up black, just more ruddy, darkish color. Now let's say you're a bright season, a bright spring, bright winter. This is gonna be a little bit harder because what makes a person a bright spring or a bright winter is that they need color in the clothes they wear or the makeup they wear. Why? Because those bright tones kind of enliven their skin. You're gonna find that any other sort of color is gonna make you look duller, more like dead kind of, or just like splotchy. So the tones that you want to find are gonna have to be a little bit a lot of times when people hear bright winter, bright spring, they automatically think like super intense bright colors. But for them, their sort of natural tones would be more almost kind of in line with light seasons. Just because you're bright winter, bright spring doesn't mean you always want to wear fucking bright colors. I have this palette in my kit for people that are either light or bright seasons but have deeper skin tones. This rom&nd one, the Rosebud Garden one. Now, if you're a bright season, I would use more colors like this here. But let's say you do want to get into that fall vibe. You wouldn't want to shift more gray. You would want to shift a little bit more deep. And by that, I mean you'd use more colors like this. You're going deeper so you get that fall vibe, but you're not making it more gray. You're just making it a little bit more intense. Does that make sense? I'm gonna show this chart here on the screen. If you're gonna be here around the bright, vivid area, you wanna almost go more strong. I am showing you guys eyeshadow palettes right now, but this goes for blush, lip, whatever. So even if it's not exactly on the eyes, you can kind of express that fall vibe via your cheek or your lip. If you happen to be a true spring or a true summer, for you, what you can actually do is just go kind of your opposite season. So for example, if you're a spring, you can dabble in fall makeup. If you're summer, you can dabble in winter makeup. If you're a true season, technically for you, you gotta either just stick to the warm or stick to the cool. So, with the fall or winter weather, there's a little bit more leniency in terms of like the kinds of colors that you can use. With all this being said though, this is for the people that actually got the personal color done. Because you're gonna be stepping outside of that box, do be aware that you're gonna have to do a little bit more with your base makeup. The reason is because if we're gonna be using colors that aren't our best, we'll start to experience things like, oh, our dark circles look worse, or maybe our redness looks worse, our acne looks more pronounced, or we look more dull. So as long as you can kind of, step up the base game a little bit. I always feel like with when it comes to like spring and summer, people are more like, oh, light coverage, like because it's hot, right? But in the colder seasons, I do feel like people don't mind wearing a little bit more makeup. So that's why I went for really full coverage today. So with that information out of the way, let's actually get started with the makeup. Okay, so with eyes, I wanted to show you this palette because I thought it's a good representation of the concepts that I'm talking about. These tones here are obviously perfect for light summers because yeah, you need that sort of pastel-y white tone in there. But if you want to move over into the fall, then you can shift over to these where it still has an almost like whitish tone, but you can see they're a lot softer. Actually, these tones would be great for a soft summer as well. So if you're a summer girly, honestly, this would be a great sort of like all year round palette because you have your, everyday spring, summer tones, but then when the weather gets a little bit more moody and colder, you can shift into here. Another one I find kind of similar vibes is this Dasique one. You can see these tones up here are great for like every day for a light summer, but then you have your deeper tones here, which for me, I would normally just use for eyeliner, but when the weather gets colder, you can kind of dip into the slightly deeper tones for that more fall vibe. Same thing with a light spring. Here, great for daily, and then when the weather is cold fall, winter, then you can go into here. This brand, Lummire, I think is really great for showcasing this concept. Actually, these ones were made in collaboration with Le Seraphim's makeup artist, so she knew what she was doing. She kind of organized in a way where the front half is more for the lighter seasons, towards the back is for the deeper seasons. So here you have your sort of light summer eyeshadows. Meanwhile here, these would be for your soft summer, your winter. So really you can just go from here to here. Same thing with this, spring into the fall. I hope I'm making sense to y'all. Actually, you can even tell by the name. The cool one was called Summer Night and the other one was called Spring Morning. So they even have an autumn and a winter one. This one is Autumn Sunset and this one is Winter Dawn. But you see what I'm talking about? I'm a soft summer, so my normal daily makeup will fit right into the fall season. So I'm gonna try this palette that I've been really wanting to try from Risky Beauty, which is a more alternative K-beauty brand. I'm just gonna do a really quick look here because we gotta move on, girl, we gotta move on. Go. A never-ending midnight sun. Lenses, I need lenses. 잠깐만. By the way, I bought these little lens cases from Amazon that you can twist this to kind of, I don't know, agitate the lens so it cleans it a little bit better in the lens solution. Okay, my lips are gonna start to look really crusty throughout this video, so I have to apologize for that. Oh, holy shit, girl. Yeah, this one is the Plucky Denim from Risky. Very cbeauty vibes. I'm so happy there's a lot more like indie K-beauty brands popping up. So I don't say indie, I mean alternative. Because girl, like every goddamn palette in all of them looks like this. So okay, let's move on to blush. So for blush, now again, same concept. If you're like a light spring, light summer, these would be your sort of go-tos. Actually, for a lot of these K-beauty blush palettes, they'll have multiple shades in there. So if you tend to use, you know, the top ones, the lighter ones, you can kind of just go one step down. Actually, I think this one is a good example. It's from Dasique. These are perfect for light summers or bright winter. If you want to go for that fall vibe, just one row down. Do you see the tonal difference I'm talking about? These feel more bright and light, where these feel a bit more deep or soft. That's what we want. Girl, I'm so fucking worried that if you're not familiar with personal color and I'm throwing all these fucking phrases at you, you're probably like, bitch, what the fuck are you even talking about? One where I think the grayness is very apparent is this one from 3CE. It's Kinda Shy. Honestly, if you're a deep winter as well, this would look super cute. Usually when it comes to deep seasons, if you're looking up recommendations like, oh, deep winter, deep autumn makeup recommendations, it's always really obviously dark, deep stuff, which obviously it's gonna look good, right? You're typed as a deep season, but sometimes those colors can be a little intimidating, especially for people that don't wear a lot of makeup. So instead of going so dark, what you can do is go the opposite way, where it's light, but still gray. The main thing that you need to note is that the color just has to be low saturation, right? Because what makes a person a deep winter or deep autumn? They look good in low saturation colors. It's the same thing with this. It's a low saturation blush. Here's another one from Lilybyred. I don't know if they have this anymore, but it's very gray. Sorry, I keep showing cool tone ones. Here's a warm tone one. So if you normally look good in colors like this, but you want to do some fall vibes, go for this. You can see exactly what I'm talking about. These sort of lightish, whitish tones transitioning into these softer grayish tones. The good thing is these aren't too gray. Due to the fact that they're warm tone colors, that feeling of grayness is not gonna be as apparent as something like, you know, like this, like a cool tone, right? Now, what about our bright seasons? Let's say you normally look good in colors like this. Let's say this is like your everyday color, right? This looks really bright in the pan, but they're quite sheer, so you can build them up quite a bit. You can see that sort of bright tone. For you, again, you wanna go softer.
If you're a bright or clear season, going for muted tones might be hard without looking too dull or tired. So you can go one of either two ways for this season. You can either go icy with your blush and opt for a really pale, whitish blush to give off that cold ice queen type vibe, like the kind you often see in cbeauty. So you'd only apply this to very front of your cheeks. Or if you want to stick to that cozy, warm look for autumn, opt for golden or coppery tones. Either way, you'll be maintaining that bright look with your colors, but it'll fit well with the colder seasons.
I'm showing this just because of the tone. I'm not saying you should get this one because I find these so unpigmented. You see the tone I'm talking about? These ones from Naming kind of also fit the bill for me. Something on the more lighter spectrum, like you want something very subtle. It's like a yellowish beige. Most beige blushes are very muted, but this one, because of that little bit of yellow in it, it has that feeling of slight brightness to it. Bagel, also from Naming, and Strut, also from Naming. You see what I mean? Kind of on the bright side, but not so bright. Still has that one step down of mutedness. Me being a soft summer, my everyday daily type of color for blush would be something that's more neutral cool, which something like this lilybyred. But if I want more fall vibes like today, I will go deeper in color. Now, I have a bunch of these blushes from this indie brand from the States called Dandelion Cosmetics. Do you fucking go, have you ever seen tones like this anywhere else? No, bitch, these are blushes. Also, here's the thing. I keep talking about, oh, light summer, light whatever. You could also have deep skin, but be a light summer, a light spring, a bright winter, a bright spring. I feel like a lot of personal color content on the internet, like information-wise, is from like Caucasian women. And so it'll be like fair skin and like either softer or like, you know, dark hair. I've said many, many times before, deeper skinned people can look really good in the more paler or grayish or whitish tones. The problem is the product itself has to be pigmented, which these are. Or you can use something like an eyeshadow. So shout out to Dandelion Cosmetics. The color I'm gonna use is Infatuation. So for these more pigmented blushes, I'm gonna use a flower nose brush because you can see how much more fluffy that shit is. For placement, when I'm doing my lessons, I always say this. When you're using a brighter, like highlighting type blush, I always put it more towards the center because, you know, we want the center of the face to be more highlighted than the outside parts. If you put those lighter colors out here, it looks a little bit more ashy. On the other hand, these more deeper toned blushes, I like to put more on the outer part of the cheek because it's more conducive with the more shadowy parts of the face. The only time I put a deeper blush here is if I'm going for that more like, you know, ruddy, sort of like freckled look. Like, I think it would go well like with this, but I'm gonna keep this one a little bit more out here. Oh, that's an interesting color. You can see how wearing a color like this on me, like if I wore that during a warm season like spring or summer, it would definitely be giving like alternative vibes, but I feel like this tone is okay for like a cooler season, you know? While we're actually on the cheeks, I wanna use a highlighter. This is from Mary Aurora. With all the blue that's happening on my face, I feel like it'll look really pretty. These Fui highlighters are rather chunky actually, but I think the reason is because they're so, there's moisture in them, which means you get a more like glowy highlight. So with these, you do have to like, almost like really work them into the skin because otherwise, or even use your finger. The finger is fine too. Better work my pussy out, bitch. All right, y'all, let's talk about lips. Finally, I can put something on my fucking mouth. I'm dry as fuck. I'm pretty sure at this point, if you watched all the way through, you basically understand what I'm talking about when it comes to the color. Starting with the light tone Cool Girlies, this is the one I normally use on them. Bubble Bomb from AOU. The very typical lightish, slightly brightish pink. But if you're going to be going for that more softer fall vibe, HC is actually meant to be a base lip, but I love using it even just by itself. That sort of soft grayish tone. This one is Cotton Bomb from AOU. It's not as gray as the last one, but it still has a soft feeling to it. Also, just the fact that it's a matte product. I feel like when it comes to the colder seasons, makeup-wise, matte is often associated with those seasons. So even if it's not color, maybe you can switch up the texture by using more matte products. One that is more glowy, Mulberry Balm, one of my favorites from AOU. This one. The Jenny Lip. It's a kind of mulberry mauve shade. Actual mauve, God. Mauve is one of those words you see in a lot of makeup brands, but it's always different amongst every fucking makeup brand. What about warm tone? This is Persimmon Balm. I did lay it on quite thick, but you can see the sort of like lightish warm tone. I do find with these AOU bombs, it might look intense here, but when you put it on, you let it settle for a little bit, it becomes more transparent. So if you want something more for the fall, I do like Peanut Balm. You can immediately see that sort of much more toned down quality to it. This lip mask from Tokobo is also a nice one, Chocoberry. It's a lot more deeper than the other ones. This one is definitely going to be a lot more for, if you're a soft autumn, this would be your perfect shade. This Fui Pudding Pot in the color Mai, I also felt like, because when you look at it here, it's like, oh, there'll be like a spring color. If you don't want to go too grayish, but you still want that slight softer tone for the fall, this one from Mai, you can see it's still a little bit bright compared to the other ones, but that soft, blurry texture, I feel like is conducive with fall. In a similar fashion, this Coral Bomb from AOU, Eunbi-sam, the one that made AOU, she loves a muted tone, so you can definitely see that happening here. When this product first dropped, she made 4 colors, and it was very obvious it was supposed to be like spring, summer, fall, winter, but this is supposed to be for the spring, but definitely a little bit more wearable if you're a warm spring, but you don't want to go for like the brightish, lightish tones that are often associated with spring colors. This would be a more wearable sort of spring color. So you can see going from this light spring sort of color to these other tones, they feel more fall. 2 neutral colors I want to show you. This one, I don't know if it's still available because it came from this this collection from Bia. Very pretty, like brownie pink. You know my fucking favorite AOU, Comfy Bomb. This shit looks so fucking messy, I don't wanna. Oh, that's so good. This is Edward from the future. You guys know H, right? Like the ones that made the gray cement lip tint. They also have like a gloss version of that. And you can really just use something like this in tandem with your current daily lip tints, and you'll just get a more muted version of that. It has this goddamn donut applicator. I fucking hate this shit. This is grayish, and this is sienna. They're both very obviously very gray, but this is more of like a cool tone gray, and the other sienna is more of a warm tone gray. And you can use this on top of your other lip tints to get a more muted version of it. Those two be really good. Okay, what about bright tones? If you normally suit something like this is AOU's Cherry Bomb. You can see that brighter tone. If you want to go for that fall vibe, but you don't want to look dead with the typical deep dark shades that you'll often see in this season, go deeper, but stay in that strong range of color. What do I mean by that? This one, I don't know if it's still available. It's from rom&nd. I feel like on the forum, like on the internet, whenever deep winters or deep autumns are looking for color recommendations, I always see this being recommended, but in my opinion, it's so red. And I feel like that redness makes it more conducive to bright tones. You see how fucking red that is? On a deep winter, deep autumn, this could look so fucking red, especially actually for any skin tone. But I do think it's the perfect color for a bright season, bright winter, bright spring for the season. Because it feels very fall, wintry, like holiday vibes, right? But it's not in that like deep, dark territory. Red Bomb from AOU is also a very similar color to that in that sort of family. Yeah, very classical holiday red type of color. In the world of personal color, this tone would be called strong, a strong tone. This one is good if you want something that's not so red. This is Cold Bomb from AOU. I feel like depending on your skin tone, this actually looks brighter on some people, and others it looks a lot more muted, but I think it's a nice shade to wear for this season. I don't want you guys to think that you need to buy all of these specifically. I just want you to get an idea of the tones that I'm talking about. If you like bright warm tones or you look good in bright warm tones, my suggestions for you, this is House of Her Brown Red. Actually, this displays the perfect type of tone that I'm talking about. It's like a ruddy color, but it's still bright in a way. Very clear orange tone to it, but with that bit of brown blackness to it, it becomes more of a strong tone. One that I see a lot being recommended on the internet for deep dark seasons is this one from rom&nd, Radwood. Again, you can see the tonal like similarities, ruddy colors. Oh wait, hold on. This is what I meant to show for the cool tone stuff, but I'm also kind of hesitant to show it to you just because recently these reformulated juicy lasting tints from rom&nd, a lot of people were saying that there was an ingredient in it that was causing them that lip dryness, or I forget what it's called, but it was causing issues for them. So
according to the brand, they're going to create a variant called the Juicy Lasting Tint Zero, which will remove the problematic ingredient causing issues. So customers will have a choice between that and the current version being sold. They're wanting to roll this out in 2026.
I'm just gonna show you the actual tone. This is Plum Coke. I know they have this in the original Juicy Lasting Tint Light, so if you can somehow find that one, that would be good for a bright tone looking to get into that fall vibe. There she is, a strong tone. It's bright, but it has a bit of black in it, so it's not like in your face bright. This one from Tiri Tiri Scotch Shot, kind of similar vibes to the House of Her one, but not as much black in it. I'm gonna wipe off that rom&nd one real quick. A more recent one that I think is actually a good neutral tone is the new Fui Dirty Cola gloss. This would be a great sort of vampy shade if you're a bright season and you wanna, I keep saying this, get into the fall. But you can see the similarities amongst all of them. There's just that sort of black tone to them. Oh my God, finally, you guys. Again, if I put something on my fucking... I should have done this earlier, but girl, you got me talking to you the entire video with crusty ass lips. For me, because I'm going for the more dark tones, I'm gonna use this one that Ghoul in Japan recommended to me. Oh, yo, I'm so sorry. That was disgusting, y'all. Oh, so nice. All the colors that are going on in my face right now, I mean, minus the highlighter, it's very like within the same range of like, nothing stands out too much. It's all even. Honestly, I was talking to someone about this the other day. I feel like in the West, I mean, I'm using blue eyeshadow, but if it was something more of like, if I was wearing eyeshadow in a similar tone to this, people would call it a tone-on-tone look. And so they consider that like a separate thing. Whereas I feel like, at least in K-beauty, everything is tone on tone. Like you're not really gonna catch someone having like warm or cool eye look and then have the opposite sort of tone on the other half of their face. So I do find that quite fascinating about, you know, the different beauty standards. I don't know about that. I really fucking should have put this on at the very beginning of the video, girl. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't want this to be like a product, even though the whole thing was product recommendations. I want you to get into the habit of recognizing tones. Ideally, I would have swatched a lot of this stuff like on my face, but I don't think my skin could go through that. The best would be to swatch things in person, but seeing as a lot of the stuff is Asian stuff and you probably have to order it online. If you're in Korea, maybe you can do it. Also, again, it's not like a rule that just because it's fall, you have to wear fall colors. You can wear whatever you want throughout the year. I just want you to be able to, that's why a lot of people think that personal color analysis like boxes you into a thing, but for me, in my opinion, it opens up a gateway into not only knowing what colors that you like, but also being able to recognize tones and be able to mix and match and kind of customize them so that you can wear them and style yourself in a way that, you know, matches your mood. I know I yap on and on about being a soft fucking summer, but I get bored too, bitch. I get bored of being soft summer. So I know if I want to step outside of that, I know what colors to wear and kind of go with like on my makeup, on my clothes and stuff. So yeah, I see you guys later. I'm gonna pass. I need to go finish this video again right now. Hope you have a good day and I'll see you around. Bye. Oh, all the products that I showed in the video will be down below. Girl, that's gonna be a long fucking product list. Bye.